JEM is my name, no one else is the same. JEM is my name. JEM.
Oh, we're off to a fine start here. Did that come off as sarcastic? I didn't mean it as sarcastic if it came off as sarcastic. I'm being genuine. We're off to a fine start. Issue 1. Good. Before we start, let me follow up on my JEM movie review and say, because a lot of people have brought this up to me, that yes, I did see the mid-credit sequence of the film. The Misfits show up in a little mid-credit scene. That's cool. I didn't mention it during the review. It doesn't really have any effect on the film, the story, the narrative. It's a nice post-credits thing. It's well, mid-credits thing. It's fun. I felt it was... Let me get the bad thing out of the way first. Bad job on Kesha's or Pizzazz's makeup and the way she's lit in the scene. You have to be careful with green makeup when you have green hair, especially if you put big splotches of green on someone's forehead, because it made her look like she had big, bushy Oscar the Grouch eyebrows. It's probably not their fault. They probably only had Kesha for like an hour. They put her in makeup. They pre-lit the set. They brought her on, and they're like, that doesn't look great, but there's nothing we could do. Oh well. Also, you don't need to say the thing. You know, she's like, our songs are better. We're gonna get her. Do you recognize that? Do you recognize it from the show? Yes. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with Transformers. Also Hasbro. It's the same thing with Transformers. No one cares if you actually say more than meets the eye. Nobody well, I don't care, so you shouldn't either. That said, that drawback aside, Pizzazz in that shot didn't look very good. But that said, cool live action interpretation of the Misfits. Nice to see Jeddah there. The actors exude an appropriate amount of attitude, which, yeah, I'd happily see them making mischief. You see what I did there? You see how lame that is? I said the thing, but no one was asking me to. All right. So, yeah, I saw it. It was certainly there. You know something else I didn't mention in the review? How low Rio wraps his towel around his waist. Pretty low. No one wraps their towel around their waist that low. Not unless you're showing off for someone. You showing off for someone, Rio? Were you expecting company, buddy? Alright, so, comics. So, issue 1, JEM and the Hologram. They've already... About the only critique I'm going to level at this thing is how they come up with the band name The Holograms before they know about Synergy and Holograms. What a quinky dink. Oh, terrible comic. We're done. No, it's fine. I don't care. It's just something I noticed. So, basic setup. The girls are putting together they've rented a facility to shoot a music video to enter a Beat the Misfits versus competition thing, right? They're entering some type of contest to make a video with the Misfits or compete against the Misfits via video. Something, right? Jerica is there, and she's choking because she can't, while she can rock it in the studio, she can't sing in front of a audience. This is like the third time they've tried it. They don't have any more money to try this again. The deadline's tomorrow. Everyone, tempers are running high. Everyone's frustrated. Jerica goes home and meets Synergy and finds out that Emmett, her and Kimber's recently deceased father, left her Synergy, and she's like, aha, if I use a hologram to make me someone else, I won't choke in front of an audience and can just let it go, and just sing, right? Okay, so that's the first issue. Now, what do I want to say? Let's see. What I appreciate most is the economy of storytelling. The first issue is 20-some pages, 26 pages or something like that. Does it matter? Do we really care? Not really. 24 pages. Okay. What is with JEM's shoes? I'm just... They're weird. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying I don't like them, but that's an interesting... Also, Kimber is going to break her damn feet in those heels. That can't be comfortable. That can't be good for your tootsies. Nevertheless, okay. Economy of storytelling. In 21 pages, 22 pages, we establish our four main characters, their wants, how they've been the myriad ways they've been going about trying to meet those wants, and why they've thus far failed. We get a very non-ham-handed way of introducing the relationship between Kimber and Jerrica, the fact that they're sisters, the fact that their dad passed away last year, some other information about it, how the band members relate to each other. They do a really nice job of characterizing our characters, which is a good thing to do with characters, characterizing them, in a very short time. So kudos there. We're off to the races. Not much has really happened, so there isn't really much to talk about with the story, but I would like to mention, talk about the art, which I really, really quite like. One thing, it's vibrant, it's colorful. Those are some interesting shoes. Shayna's actually got some really interesting footwear, too. One thing I really like about the new character designs, although they skew a bit young for me. Looking at the back of the issue, it gives little character profiles, and they're all 23 except Kimber, who's 18. I guess she just graduated high school, because they do mention that everyone wanted her to finish high school before they went all in on the band thing. So she's 18, everyone else is 23. I don't think they ever mentioned their ages in the TV show, but I always got the sense that Jerrica was at least in the latter half of her 20s, not young 20s, but at least mid 20s, if not older 20s. Kimber being probably 21, 22, definitely at least 5 or 6 years younger. So I got more of an adult impression from the cartoon characters, whereas I didn't realize what their ages were until I saw the character profiles in the back of the book, and I was thinking, are they all teenagers, like 18, 19? No, they're young 20s. They're kids, but no problem, just a difference thing. I really like how... I like that we have a variety of body types among our four leads, and I would assume the rest of the cast who's yet to be introduced. What I mean by that is not that you couldn't tell, Shayna, Nadja, and Kimber and Jerrica apart in the original show. You absolutely could, but imagine if those four characters were wearing bald caps. They have almost exactly the same silhouette. Whereas the characters in these new character designs in the comic book, they have even aside from their wild hairdos, their very anime hair, they have very distinct silhouettes. You'd be able to tell which character is which just by the different silhouette. In the cartoon, they're all roughly the same height and same body type, but we get some nice variety here, so that's very cool to see. Also, I understand that the mediums are different, and probably the budgets behind them are different, but the art is not the concept necessarily. I mean, just the actual art. The art is really gorgeous here. I imagine it's very difficult to make 26 episodes of a of a television series, a cartoon, 26 22-minute cartoons. Even if you're only going like 12 frames a second, that's like math, 15, almost 16,000 frames per frames of animation. Whereas we've got 25 pages of comic, 5 some pound. You're looking at 120 to 150 panels for an issue that comes out one issue once a month, right? So completely different mediums, completely different processes. Of course, you have usually one artist, an inker and a colorer. Well, 2 artists. I bet it actually says. Sophie Campbell did the art, and Victoria Roboto. This has it kind of handwritten like it's a school notebook kind of thing, which is a nice font. It can be hard to read, but she did the colors. So we have 2 artists working on it. My point is it's gorgeous. They do a really, really nice job of making their faces distinct. That's something the original cartoon did a pretty decent job of, is the characters, particularly the female characters, didn't suffer as much, to an extent, but not as much as a lot of its contemporaries and even some modern stuff of all the women have exactly the same face. They actually had some, different noses and different cheekbones and different face shapes. Even more so here. And it provides the opportunity to give a lot more angles from which the head is facing the camera, all kinds of really great facial expressions. These characters are very emotive, and their expressions are incredibly readable. The light, they do some really interesting things with the lighting. The scene when she's back home and she first meets Synergy, they do some interesting things with coloring there. It's just really, really nicely done. I love, as an example of this last splash page that closes out this volume. I love look at the expressions on Jerrica's sisters. They're so varied and great. You've got Aja, who's she's turning it. Well, you can see it. I'll put it up on the screen. Thank you, Lindy, for the scans of the comic, so I can actually do that. Check out Lindy Lee. She's a great artist. You've got Aja here, who's like, whoa, what the heck? You've got Shane in the back going, oh my gosh, and you've got Kimber going, yes. Great stuff. Really, the only critique I have for the art so far is, why is Kimber's flesh so white? I mean, she is like clown makeup white. It's really weird. That's not his natural skin tone. I don't know why she is sheet white. Is she okay? Is she sick? Am I being mean? I don't know. Not a problem. No, Kimber's white. Too white. That's too white for me. You can't be whiter than this guy and get away with it. No. You can only be so pale. This pale. Imagine how pale my backside is. Actually, don't do that. All right. There's an OnlyFans for that. Yeah. I was going to start an OnlyFans, but I know what you guys want. I know what you need. You need to know what I think of comics. So, yeah, we're off to a great start. I'm excited to read the rest, and despite how unbelievably hot it is in here, and it's like 11:30 at night, I'm going to read some more. So, see you in the next video.